Let's bring into the conversation Democratic Mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, to respond to what you heard right there. Mayor Johnson, thanks for your time this morning. We appreciate it. I don't have to tell you about the generations-old problem of gun violence on the streets of Chicago. You are making some headway there just in the last couple of years. But what is your response to President Trump as he floats the idea of sending the National Guard into Chicago?
Well, good morning. First of all, a military occupation of the city of Chicago would not only be illegal, but unconstitutional and costly. The city of Chicago is not requesting that federal troops come and occupy our city. In fact, I have not heard any mayor across this country call for American troops to come and occupy our cities. Look, we're working hard every single day to drive violence down in the city of Chicago. Since I've been in office, there's been a precipitous decline in violent crime in every single category. Just this year alone, we have a 32% reduction in homicides, almost 40% reduction in shootings and shooting victims. Robberies are down nearly 35%. Carjackings are down nearly 50%. We're moving in the right direction because we're making critical investments. If this president was actually serious about driving violence down in the city of Chicago and American cities across this country, he would work with mayors to make sure that we have the necessary investments to continue to do the work that we have been doing.
Well, you've led me to my next.
Okay, so if that's the case, if the crime is down, if murder is down, can you explain this? So I did the research. I went on ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT about the crime in Chicago. So now I searched it. It gave me summary table. It gave me 3 incidents that happened. A fatal shooting of a 5-year-old. Sunday, 1:17 p.m. Kenwood apartment. A 5-year-old boy. Suspect charged, investigation ongoing. Second one, fatal shooting at motel. Friday, 5:30 a.m. Archer Heights, outside motel. Kenwin Clark, male, Wisconsin resident. Fatally confirmed, detail limited. Third one, overall weekend shooting, Friday, Sunday. Various occurred Chicago. 6 killed, 27 injured total. Citywide data. So can you explain that? That's my question. Can you explain that? And guys, comment down below. And also subscribe to my channel and put a like to my channel. I would very appreciate that. Thank you.
Question, Mr. Mayor, which is, if not for these troops coming into Chicago, what would a productive relationship with the Trump administration look like? If they were serious about fighting crime in the streets of Chicago, what could they offer you that would be helpful?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. First of all, he could start by restoring the over $800 million that was taken away from violence prevention efforts back in April. Look, when I first became mayor of the city of Chicago, I made multiple requests to the previous administration to invest in violence prevention. That request remains, but these are also requests.
The only reason why he's asking for that $800 million for the president is because to cover the deficit that the city is in. That's my opinion. That's what I think. That's the only reason why he's asking for it. Guys, like I said, comment down below and let me know if you think that's true or not.
I know that are being made in Baltimore by Brandon Scott, who's doing an incredible job. Barbara Lee in Oakland, who's doing an amazing job. Karen Bass in Los Angeles. Many mayors across this country. Randall Woodfin in Birmingham, Alabama. You are seeing declines that we have not seen in a generation. In fact, just the month of April this year, 2025, it was the safest April since 1962. Our work is working. This president and the federal federal government has a responsibility to ensure that cities have the resources that they need in order to continue to drive violence down across this country.
And what programs would you want funded? What specifically do you consider to be violence prevention programs?
$800 million be used for?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have been working with community violence intervention workers, or CVI. These are community-led organizations that are spending time on the ground in the neighborhoods, working to squash conflict, to prevent retaliation from occurring. Look, I live on the west side of Chicago. It's the Austin neighborhood, one of the most dynamic communities in the entire city, but it has been mired in disinvestment. I'm likely the first mayor in the history of Chicago to wake up in one of the most difficult, challenging communities. And that's why not only are we investing in CVI, or our community violence intervention workers, we're also investing in youth employment. This summer alone, we hired 31,119 young people. And in the neighborhoods where youth employment was the highest, we saw the most significant decline in violence. He also can help support mental and behavioral health care services. I've reopened the 3 mental health clinics. We've expanded mental health crises workers all over the city so that when mental health crises occurs, a police officer doesn't have to show up to that scene. But we have a trained professional to be able to address these crises. The other thing that he can help us with is the federal government can help us with. I've revamped the entire detectives bureau within the city of Chicago, and now we have a clearance rate almost 77%. One of the deterrents of crime is to actually solve it, to bring closure, to bring justice. These are just a few examples that I know mayors across the country are calling for. This president and the federal government has literally declared war on poor people. I remember a time when presidents declared war on poverty. The federal government has a moral responsibility to do unto the least of these. And that's what we're doing in the city of Chicago.
So let me ask you, Mr. Mayor, those all sound like great programs. I'm curious, would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand that. You've talked about the other things you want, and I said those are good and important programs, but I'm asking also, would 5,000 more police officers on the street in Chicago be helpful to go along with all of those social programs that a lot of cities are engaging in and having success with?
Well, look, here's the best way I can put it, Joe, is that in the 90s when I was in high school, we had 3,000 more police officers and we had 900 people being murdered every single year in Chicago. It's just not policing alone. Of course, we want more detectives.
I know it's not policing alone, but I know it's not policing alone. You've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between
what is it, third time
people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing.
Look,
that's not the question I.
Oh my God, this guy would not answer the question. This is like his 4th time asking him this question. It's a simple yes or no. Do you believe that you think that they should put 5,000 officers on the ground? It's a yes or no question. I can answer it for you. Yes. I think you should put 5,000 more officers on ground. It's going to protect the city. People is going to second guess themselves if they see more police officers on ground. It's a simple yes or no question. Like, I can't look. I'm going to be honest. I can't do it. I can't do this because I want to be a journalist. Like, I don't think I could ask people questions and for me to ask you questions and I have to repeatedly ask you questions over and over just because you don't want to answer it. I don't know. I think that might just drive me insane. And think about it, it's coming from a left-leaning news network, MSNBC, for them to ask you five times, and for you to dodge the question, come on, bro. Everybody needs to wake up. Everybody needs to wake up, man. Come on. And of course, he don't want to answer the question because he support defund the police. He support no bail laws. He also support Senate and social worker, and also he removed spot shotters late last year, 2024. So of course, ok- so I guess his answer would be no. It's crazy how this guy cannot answer the question. This is like a low IQ. I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Yes, my question is, and I just need a yes or a no, do you believe the streets of Chicago would be safer if you got all of those other extraordinary programs put back into place, which do have a history of being successful, if that's complemented by having 5,000 more cops on the streets of Chicago?
I don't believe that we should narrow it down to just police officers, Joe, is what I'm saying. That is an antiquated approach. I'm saying we've invested in detectives.
Mr. Mayor, are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm agreeing with you that all of these other social programs are extraordinarily important. I just need a yes or a no, and then this will be the last time I ask. If you get all of those other social programs that 800 million that New York City does, Los Angeles, other people do with great success, would an additional 5,000 cops on the streets in Chicago help complement those programs to make Chicago safer?
Look, we are working hard to make sure.
How many times have you asked him? This the fifth time? Fifth time. Jesus
that
Christ.
Our police department is fully supported. I don't believe that just simply putting out an arbitrary number around police officers is the answer. What I'm saying is policing and affordable housing. It's policing and mental and behavioral health care services. It's policing.
It's a common sense question, bro. It's common sense. I do believe you should send 5,000 more police officers on ground. It's gonna protect the city. Like it's a simple question, bro. I don't know. I can't do it.
And youth employment. It's a full package. Of course, we want to make sure that our police department is fully supported. That's why I've invested in our detectives bureau, because what we have seen in the city of Chicago, when we solve crime, it acts and serves as a deterrent. It's policing and all of the other efforts that we're doing. Here's the last thing that I'll say to that. The federal government could work stronger to coordinate with my police department to get guns off the streets of Chicago. We've seen these coordination efforts work. Just a couple of weeks ago, the ATF, working with my police department, we removed over 150 guns off the streets of Chicago that were trafficked in through Mississippi and Indiana. No one is saying that police officers don't play an incredible role in driving safety. They play an absolute pivotal role in that. But we have asked law enforcement to do too much. Police officers are being asked to be social workers, counselors. What I'm simply saying is, if we're going to build safe and affordable cities across America, the one thing that safe communities all have in common, they invest in people. We have a poverty issue in the city of Chicago and cities across America. Police officers alone will not put food on the table. Police officers alone will not guarantee a high quality education. Police officers alone won't drive down.
What is he saying right now? What is he saying? What is he saying? And this the mayor that y'all put in there. A teacher. What is that? A fifth grade teacher? Jesus. He have run Chicago down to the ground.
employment. We need all of it. The President of the United States of America and the federal government could restore Medicaid. They could restore SNAP. They could stop defunding our public education system. Here's the most important point here. Justice Brandeis, over 100 years ago, the first Jewish American to sit on the Supreme Court. He said that we could either have a democracy or wealth in the hands of the concentrated few. He said, but we cannot have both. We are fighting for our democracy and our humanity right now. This president's nescience of the Constitution will leave irrevocable harm on posterity. That's why, as mayor of the city of Chicago, we are standing up to tyranny, and American cities across this country are doing the same.
Well, I agree, Mike.
All right, man. I had enough of this. I don't know. This guy just don't want to answer the question. And you would think these people is going mega, right? Oh man, guys, subscribe to my channel, put a like to my channel, and also comment down below what you think about the mayor not answer the questions. Do you think that Chicago crime rate is down? Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Take care, guys. Peace.